Hi, yeah, we're back. It has been like 2 months at least since I last recorded because just my life just went crazy for a little bit there. All right, we're not going to worry about that too much. Is what it is, but we're finally back. Episode 17. Episode 16 was amazing. I loved it. Here's hoping they can maintain that level of quality. Also did some finagling with my microphone and settings and my setup. Hopefully, it sounds better. I've tested it multiple times. My main concern is, can you hear me over the episode? That's the main thing. Because I don't think I'm going to be able to get like studio quality sound just because I don't have a studio quality mic. I have a cheap microphone. So it's not going to reach that level. But my main concern is, can you hear me over the episode, and can you still hear the episode as well? And are the sounds balanced? That's my main concern. So if that's good, then I'm gonna stick with it. We're just gonna see how it goes with this one, and hopefully it'll be good, and I'll have found like levels that work, and I can just stick with that and not worry about it anymore. But either way, let's watch episode 17. Finally. Oh my god. Have I missed doing these? I'm so ready to get back into it. I just hope I haven't lost my flow and that I can remember everything that's happened up to this point because it's been a hot second.
It's beautiful here and so peaceful.
Yeah, it's rural. A nice way of saying there's nothing going on.
Eh.
4 years, brother.
Oh, why is it mute? Shut up. Pause. Anyway, uh, as somebody who also lives in a rural town, mostly true. Not always true, but mostly true, yeah. Not a lot happens. Every now and then you'll get some crazy shit go down, though, in a rural town. But yeah, for the most part, not much happens.
You mean you haven't come home once since you left?
You can't really come home to a place where there's no family waiting for you. You know our general situation, don't you, Major?
Yes, I do.
Is that also the case in Manga Hood? I can't remember. I don't have my manga with me. The fuck am I doing? We're finally back on the manga accurate stuff. Or mostly manga accurate. Man, my throat is messed up. I'm gonna get myself some water as well. But I'm gonna run grab my manga. Anyway, what I am wondering is it the full, do they specify that it's the full, like, 3-4 years that they haven't been back to Risenbul? It doesn't seem they specify exactly how long it's actually been since they've been back to Risenbul. I know it's been a long time, but they don't specify whether it's been that full 3 years. Because I think it's 3 years in the manga. Okay, so just kind of like based off of this, like inferring from dialogue, they don't ever specify when the last time Ed was back in Risenbul. Just that it's been a decent amount of time. But Ed does do the whole, like, not Ed, Winry does the whole, call before you check in, and that she's had to tell them that multiple times, which implies that they have been back to Risenbul multiple times since they originally left. So in Manga Hood version, it seems that Ed has returned several times over the course of the 3 years, but there's still, like, long gaps in between those returns. So it's probably been like 6 months or something like that, or maybe like once a year. So that's one small difference there. Not one I was expecting. Oh yeah, something I wanted to comment on because I got a comment on one of my previous videos and I forgot to respond to it because my life just I've just been so busy I haven't had time to like even really look at my comments. But I had somebody ask me like what my thoughts on the openings and endings for O3 are. I'm not going to show any of it just because, like, copyrights. I'm already on thin ice in that regards. But I do really like them. I think, from what I remember, O3 has really good openings in general. Yeah, I enjoy them. I did want to, like, I paused on a weird frame, but I wanted to showcase this specific thing because it's a reference to the very first promotional image that Arakawa ever released to the public of Ed and Al. And I thought that was really cool, so I wanted to show that off. Especially with this second opening, I really love some of the imagery in it, like later on. Like some of the I don't know if religious is the right word, but like Edward reaching towards the sky, that type of imagery, and it's like kind of desperate. I really like the imagery in this opening.
Alex Louis Armstrong, humbly at your service.
Why was that animation so smooth? That was that was absurdly smooth animation for that bit. You know what? I'll say this about 03. The animators know when to commit to a bit. They're so good at it.
Great! I buy you a wrench and you try to kill me with it!
Well, apparently you're trying to kill yourself. What have you been up to?
He bought her the wrench. Your Honor, I love them. They are the standard. I say this immediately after she just threw a wrench at his head. But no, I love them so much. I love them so much. That's so cute.
It wouldn't be something dangerous, would it?
No, it's nothing like that at all. Just some research.
And it's actually exactly like that. But to be fair,
Right.
I'm not sure they fully
Nothing
real.
to
Well, no, they do in this version, don't they? Yeah, they know that the Philosopher's Stone's
Drive her
pretty fucked
crazy
up.
sometimes, but she's always there for us, right?
Yeah, she is.
Hang on, I want to see if that line's in the manga. Okay, from what I can tell, that line from Alphonse is not in the manga. And the reason that line caught my attention is because, again, it's an example of that dialogue that I don't really like, where it's telling you how you should feel about things and, like, not really trusting you to understand the dynamics and the relationships of the characters. They're spelling it out for you. And that felt like a pretty good example of some of the issues I've been having. So I thought I would, like, isolate that line a little bit, because I feel like it's a good example of what I'm referring to. And it's always Alphonse. I notice that a lot. Like, most of the time, the dialogue that I'm not really liking is, like, a lot of the times, it's Alphonse who has the line. It's like he's kind of like the emotional exposition of the series, where they're like, we want to make sure the audience understands this relationship or theme or whatever. So we're gonna have Alphonse say this, like, almost narrator-ish line that spells it out for you. I mean, other characters have done it too, but it's mostly been Alphonse, which is kind of interesting to me. I don't know. It's just something I noticed that, again, it's that one little thing that just kind of, like, gets on my nerves. And I'm just like, But it's not atrocious or anything, but it annoys me. It's a pet peeve. It's a pet peeve I have with the show. That's a good way of putting it. This is other than the alchemy. No, the alchemy is my nemesis. I'm at war with the alchemy in this series. My pet peeve with the series is the dialogue. Let's put it that way. I want to note it, there is some weather where I'm at right now. I hope you can't, like, hear any of it. It's not bad right now, but it might get bad before I finish recording. So, here's hoping that it doesn't, and that it doesn't cause any issues. Oh. Sexy.
Something wrong, Al?
No, I just couldn't remember who she was. That's all. My mind was blank.
That's no big deal. It's been years and she's changed a lot. You just didn't recognize her.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, I do kind of like that they set up a little bit more with Alphonse's, like, whole, like, what do you call it? Identity crisis? I don't know. His, like, his issues that happen with Barry the Chopper. Because I will say, when I was younger, I did not like that storyline. The whole, like, Alphonse thinking he was, like, created or whatever. I did not enjoy that storyline when I was younger. I understand it now. It's still not my favorite part of the manga or anything, but I understand, like, what it all means much better now that I'm older. But I do kind of like this one planting the seeds a little earlier on. I do like that. That might be one thing I like better in this version. But that's just because the whole Alphonse identity issues stuff, that specific part of it with Barry the Chopper and all that, was something that I kind of struggled to understand a lot. It took multiple times reading the story and watching the story for me to really understand it. So I kind of enjoy them planting the seeds earlier.
Yeah, it's got amplifiers that boost your transmutation.
Can I see? The loving workmanship, the detail. Now this is the work of a craftsman. How's it run? Do you wind it or is it self-wound? Or could it possibly be a new technique?
I don't know. And as long as it's functioning, I don't care.
Can I see how it works then, please?
Are you crazy? I know how you get when you have your hands on mechanics. You'll take it apart to the last screw.
So what if I do? I'll put it back together and it'll work just fine. You know I'm the greatest mechanic on the planet, Ed, right?
Do the watches actually amplify their alchemy in this one? Hold on. I thought that was just like some bullshit that Father Cornello believed. Do the watches actually work like that? Hold on. Don't go on another rant. No, we're not doing this. But that is a genuine question. That is like a genuine question because I don't know if Ed's just like making up excuses so she won't look into the watch, right? Because he doesn't want her to see it. So he's just like making something up so she won't touch it. Or if it actually legitimately that's part of the O3 lore. Which I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna go on a rant. I'm not gonna go on one of my tangents. There is thundering right now. It's not super loud, so I doubt it's being picked up by the mic, but I'd rather get through these 2 episodes before the storm hits, so.
Brother, did I ever have friends?
What?
Oh.
That's an out-of-the-blue question.
Oh.
I don't remember any of them. I tried to, but it's hazy. They don't have faces.
You know how memories work. You've had a lot of new experiences, and they just pile up. It's natural for old memories to fade a little.
Especially when you're like
There's something
5 years
wrong
old.
with me.
Oh, okay. Me too, Ed. Me too. I also was a little flabbergasted by that one. Now they're really planting the seeds for it.
So listen, now. There's this thing, see? It's something I've been meaning to tell you for a long time now.
Oh.
But I've been kind of scared.
Okay, so we're not just planting the seeds. We're straight up going into that storyline. Okay, never mind. I thought they were just planting the little seeds to go back to later. No, we're straight up doing it. Like, right now. Understood. Okay.
Scared, I guess, of what your reaction would be.
What?
Damn it, it's just...
Tell me.
No, it's nothing. Forget it.
Brother, tell me.
Gentlemen, look up at the sky. This night gives us a bounty of gifts, like a blanket of shimmering, brilliant jewels. It's a majesty that cannot be witnessed in the city, in its haze of electric light. This is an amazing place you're from, this quiet little village.
That was a for real Armstrong jump scare. I think because I was only like half paying attention, because again, there's a storm approaching, and I'm trying to keep an eye out for if I need to like just pause the recording till later, till it passes. So when he just burst through the door, it gave me a little jump scare. Where's his loincloth?
I feel great.
He looks naked.
Brother?
What the
Don't
fuck?
mention it. We're okay, but thanks.
Thank you.
This is making me viscerally uncomfortable. Where is his loincloth?
Don't be dramatic. What the hell are you getting teary about anyway?
Because you won't. Neither of you will after all this time, so I'm crying for you both. Where could they have gone?
Yeah. Does Rush Valley happen in any capacity in O3? I know the baby stuff doesn't happen, which I could say some stuff about that, but you know. I get people are like, oh, the Hugheses, and I'm just like, I don't give a shit. I want Winry to have her moment. But that's beside the point. Beside the point. Not gonna get into that. Okay, it is starting to rain. The rest of this video may have some, like, you might be able to hear the rain in the background. I really hope not. You probably have definitely been hearing the thunder, but I got 4 minutes left. I'm gonna just finish out this episode and then record the next one some other time.
The fireplace was here. We'd start it when it got cold. You You'd always find an excuse so you wouldn't have to chop wood yourself.
Oh, okay, this is really sweet. I love this.
Whenever we stayed out too late, Mom would flash a lamp from the second-story window. It was bright, and it cut through the darkness, all across the hills. And no matter where we were, we could see it, and we'd come running home.
What? Oh, that's so sweet. Oh my god.
You
His
boys
loincloth is back, thank god. Anyway.
do have a home.
Brother, look.
Okay. No. I didn't need my heart. I didn't need my soul. Oh, that was so sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, end the episode, please.
Huh?
It is raining
Looking
so
inside
hard.
Pete's watch. He engraved something on it.
Well, don't tell other people.
Forget.
It's pouring down rain. Okay. I don't like that Winry told Pinako about it, though. That feels wrong to me. But really good episode overall. Not a lot to say about it, but like overall, it was a good episode. It's pouring down rain now, and therefore, it's probably like a ton of background noise. So I'm gonna just like pause the recording for now. And if it passes, I'll finish recording. If not, I'll just record on another day. And give more thoughts when I do that. Okay, we're back. So the weather never cleared up, so I am recording this the next day after. First time that's ever happened. Usually I record everything together. I kind of had to rush through the ending due to the weather and stuff, because I don't want to record during weather, both for background noise and in case like the power goes out and it fucks up anything. And there's also the element of the simple fact that I have a fear of storms, so recording during a storm is just plain and simple not a good idea for me, because I'm not going to be able to focus. Even in that video, you could probably tell that I was a little distracted because there was a storm approaching. But yeah, we're good now. The weather is still not great, but it's not storming right now, and it's not raining, so I think I'm good to finish the recording for now. As for the episode itself, it was a good episode. I really didn't have a whole lot to say about it, because it really was just manga stuff, so there wasn't a lot to react to, because it was just the manga, and there wasn't a lot to commentate on either, or at least not that I really cared to say. Again, I just didn't have a whole lot to say about it, but it was a good episode. But now we're on to episode 18. I don't know what this is. I'm going to assume it's the beginning of the, lab number 5, which I have a few vague memories from, and I remember really liking it. So we'll see. I hope this is the beginning of lab 5, but we'll see.
Major Armstrong, sir, we've been sent to meet you here as you requested.
Well done, troops.
Ross
I
and
need to go directly to HQ
his
and get back to
face.
my other duties. From now on, these two will be
Brosh.
guarding you.
I remembered his
Introduce
name.
yourselves.
Lieutenant Maria
I like
Ross
these
reporting,
characters.
sir.
And I'm Sergeant Denny Block, humbly at your
Block?
service.
It is an honor to meet you, full.
Wait. Did he just say it's Brosh, right? I'm not tripping. Am I tripping? I swear it's Danny Brosh. Hang on. Yeah, Brosh. Sergeant. Did I mishear him?
Lieutenant Maria Ross reporting, sir.
And I'm Sergeant Denny Block, humbly at your service.
It is an
Yeah, he says block. That's really funny. I'm guessing it was just a translation error. I mean, that's about all it can be, but that's pretty funny. I also just think it's funny that he has the same hairstyle as Edward.
And I'm not just saying this because I'm her father, Roy. Everyone agrees. Seriously, you have to hear the girl, and to think she's only 3 years
What are
old.
you doing? My man! I'll tell you what. That is a great bit. I hope it's a running bit. Because if it's just a reoccurring bit of every time Hughes is on the phone bragging about Alicia, he's just in a more absurd pose each time. That would be a great running bit. It's a great bit on its own if this is the only time it's done. I'm praying that it's a running bit because that's fucking hilarious. That is really funny.
Yes, she always had her nose in a book.
Really?
Imagine being a librarian who likes books.
I'm gonna transmute the ashes of these books to their original forms.
That would be incredible. You can really do something like that?
No, he can't.
Watch and learn.
Admittedly,
Wow,
that is a
strong
pretty
wind.
pretty funny
Is that
bit.
what I was supposed to be watching for?
Like, admittedly, that's a pretty funny bit. But also, whoo, calm. My nemesis strikes again. Would not be physically possible, because even if he could return the ashes to the physical form of the books, he doesn't know what was in the books. Therefore, he cannot return the ink to its original form of words. And also, the ink is probably gone because it was burnt. Would have evaporated or something.
Actually, if you want, I can reproduce the book for you, no problem. I've got a photographic memory, you see, so I can recreate any book I've ever read. And since I did read that book while I was working there in the library...
You can do that?
Took
Then
you
why in
long
the world
enough
didn't
to
you say
suggest
so
it.
earlier?
Well, because people have always made fun of me for it. But if
Oh.
I can be of some help...
Okay, yeah, they immediately answered that one. My bad.
Alrighty, it's all here.
Sometimes
As
you just
can
need to
see,
be
it's a pretty
patient.
long book, so...
Sir, wait up! Where are you going to now?
We're gonna hole up in the Central Library's main building for now. After all, they've got the best resources for this sort of work.
No way. A library was Scar's last mark, and he's still at large. It's impossible for us to protect you in that kind of public venue.
Figuring out a way to do your job right is your problem, Lieutenant Ross. Getting the Philosopher's Stone is mine.
I appreciate the attitude from Edward. I mean, he's always, punk kid and all that stuff. There have been a few moments where I felt like his character was a little too subdued throughout 03. That right there, I'm like, yes, give me my little brat. Though, honestly, out of all the characters, I feel like Ed is the most in character in 03. Like, he's the one that I've had the least amount of issues with. The one with the most issues I've had, obviously, is Mustang. I've mentioned it before. And next to Mustang is probably Alphonse, though I haven't talked about that one as much. Despite the fact that I actually have praised 03 Alphonse a lot, there's just, like, these little things that happen with Alphonse, and I'm always like, okay, it's a little too naive or too childish, I think mostly the Siren episode was the one where I was kind of like, oh, what are we doing here with Alphonse? But overall, like, I think, I always say, like, the glorified fanfiction vibes with the show. The thing about that is, like, a good fanfiction is usually marked by good characterization. And for me, what marks good characterization is that even if the character is different, they still feel like the same character. Like, even if the setting is different or the context is different, you're like, hey, this feels like what that character would be like in this new context. And overall, I think with Edward, 03 has been very good with that. With him, even though some things are different, some contexts are different, some circumstances are different, Edward still always feels like Edward, even when they do something different with his character. Versus, like, the Mustang situation, where I'm like, he doesn't feel like Mustang to me, which is where my issues come from, is like, this is not the same character. It doesn't feel like Mustang, but in a different context. It feels like a different character to me. And that's why I tend to take issue with Mustang's characterization a little bit more. Or, like, Hughes is another great example of, like, pretty well done characterization in 03. Like, Hughes really still feels like Hughes. Hell, there's sometimes that Hughes feels more like Hughes in this version than he does in Brotherhood. Because I feel like Brotherhood, I don't remember a lot about how the difference between how Brotherhood handles Hughes and how the manga handles Hughes. But in the manga, you kind of get a little more context of Hughes' character in the fact that he's not always a good person. I don't know if that's the right way to phrase that, but he definitely has a darker side to him. And O3 Hughes, he's a lot more of kind of a bastard. He's like, he likes to mess with people and he's kind of obnoxious, for lack of a better term. And I feel like a lot of that more bastard side of his character comes through in O3 a lot better than it does in Brotherhood. If you read the manga and then the OVA about how Hughes and Mustang met, you kind of get a really different perspective on his character. And O3 really aligns with that perspective, that added context of those short stories and bonus chapters and OVAs and stuff really well, even though they didn't have that to work with.
You mean a weirdo like me whose only skill is reading might be able to work for the military?
Don't sell yourself short. The world needs people who really care about something and work hard at it. You have a gift, Sheska. You should own it.
Alphonse
I'm
is
proud
so
of yourself.
sweet. What's that face?
Guess you win again, Ed. Now I can free up a couple of additional soldiers to cover the security in the library for you.
Wow, thanks, pal. I wasn't even thinking about that as a possible outcome.
Oh, yeah.
Lieutenant Ross, I know full well what you're going to say to me now, but I know those boys too, and they'll do whatever they want regardless of whether we give them permission or not. All that we can do is protect them as best as we can. I expect your cooperation.
I can't agree with you just giving them a blank ticket, encouraging them to continue despite all of the danger. With all due respect, sir, they're only children.
There's more going on here than you understand. Those two children in there have the ability to find something that no one else can. This state's future is in their hands, and as adults, it's our job to enable them. When you have kids, you'll understand.
Again, Hughes is the best character in O3. I loved that. I love that. I love Hughes really understanding that he can't control Ed. All he can do is give him the best possible Ed and Al, just give them the best possible and safest environment that he can to let them do what they need to do. Oh, I loved that scene. That was great. I'm so into this.
I see. You're homunculi.
Clever. I didn't know there were still humans who knew that word, let alone believed that we exist.
Oh, that is interesting. Okay. That is interesting that Scar knows what a homunculi is. Kind of wonder how that's gonna affect things. I'm intrigued.
Well, you're the one, aren't you? The one on all their wanted posters. You can relax, warrior. There's none among us who would sell out one of our own people.
I had no idea there were this many Ishbalans alive after the massacre.
It's not just here, my son. There are settlements like this scattered all across the country. Our people are thriving. O sons of Ishbala, the entirety of the world is the bosom of the Lord our God.
I wonder, this is just thinking out loud type stuff, but in both this context and manga hood context especially, I wonder if there were Ishvalan settlements in other countries too outside of Amestris. I do know in the manga they directly address the fact that Arago, I don't know if that's how that country's name is pronounced, but that's how I'm saying it, shut off its borders to the Ishvalans. They supplied weapons to the Ishvalans, but then shut their borders to the refugees. But I wonder if Krita and I guess probably not Drachma, because Drachma is so far on the opposite side of the country. I do wonder if there were some refugees that made it to other countries besides Amestris. It's not something that's ever addressed in any version, but it is an interesting thought. Because it's gotta have happened, just realistically speaking. That's kind of how wars work. I don't know, it's an interesting thought.
The last ingredient of the stone. It's live human beings.
Hey, what's the matter?
Just when I thought... Just when I thought it was finally within our grasp.
So another interesting change. The fact that Ed isn't directly telling Ross about the secret. So Ed doesn't know that Ross knows. That's an interesting difference. I wonder, again, another one where I wonder how that's going to change things. Another thing that I was thinking about related to the Ishvalans, is there a reason that Scar has white hair? Because if in this version white hair isn't an Ishvalan trait, is there a reason that Scar specifically has white hair? Or is it just kind of one of those things that they don't really acknowledge? Could be interesting if they did something with that. Okay. That was a pretty good episode. I really liked that one. I felt like I had a lot more to say about it because there was just more differences. It wasn't just watching the manga. I don't know. There's not a lot to say when an episode actually is like pretty accurate to the manga, because then it's like I'm not reacting because I already know. And sometimes there's commentary to be given and sometimes there isn't. And the last episode I just didn't really have a lot to say. Plus I was kind of distracted. But yeah, that was a really good one. I really enjoyed that one. Now I'm like I want to record another one. But this is technically the second half of the first recording. It feels weird not recording a second video. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Maybe I'll just record another one later today. But yeah, those are two pretty good episodes. I liked this one more. The one before this, I was just kind of like, I mean, it's good, but there's just not a lot to say. I wasn't like drawn in to it. But this one, I was paying attention. I had things to say about this one. A decent episode and a good episode. Let's put it that way.